In the vast expanse of the cosmos, the Mayan High Council convened amidst the glittering stars, their chambers resonating with the weight of centuries of governance. Captain Dennis Jackson stood before them, his words echoing in the hallowed space as he delivered his report on the ominous gathering at the edge of their star system. At first, the counselors scoffed, dismissing his claims as the fanciful imaginings of a species still in its infancy. But as Jackson presented evidence gleaned from exhaustive reconnaissance efforts, their laughter turned to uneasy murmurs. The captain's voice remained steady as he detailed the scope of the threat. "The fleet amassed beyond our borders is unlike anything we have ever encountered," he explained, his gaze unwavering. "Its sheer size and composition suggest a level of organization and intent that cannot be ignored." The counselors exchanged nervous glances, their ceremonial robes rustling softly as they shifted in their seats. Admiral Singh, seated among the dignitaries, felt a cold knot form in the pit of his stomach. He knew the stakes of this moment were higher than any he had faced before. As Jackson concluded his presentation, a heavy silence settled over the chamber. The Mayan emperor, a figure of imposing stature, regarded the human captain with narrowed eyes. "You expect us to believe that your species, barely out of its infancy on the galactic stage, could muster such a force?" he demanded, his voice tinged with skepticism. Jackson met the emperor's gaze squarely. "Believe what you will, Your Majesty," he replied evenly, "but the evidence speaks for itself. Humanity may be young, but we are not without our resources or our resolve." In the wake of Jackson's revelation, Admiral Singh found himself grappling with a torrent of conflicting emotions. As the highest-ranking officer in Earth's fleet, he bore the weight of responsibility for safeguarding humanity's interests in the face of an uncertain future. Seated in his command chamber aboard the flagship U.S. Vanguard, Singh reviewed the data transmitted by Jackson and his reconnaissance team. Images of the mysterious fleet danced across the view screen, their angular silhouettes a stark contrast against the backdrop of distant stars. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, the Mayan High Council convened amidst the glittering stars, their chambers resonating with the weight of centuries of governance. Captain Dennis Jackson stood before them, his words echoing in the hallowed space as he delivered his report on the ominous gathering at the edge of their star system. At first, the counselors scoffed, dismissing his claims as the fanciful imaginings of a species still in its infancy. But as Jackson presented evidence gleaned from exhaustive reconnaissance efforts, their laughter turned to uneasy murmurs. The captain's voice remained steady as he detailed the scope of the threat. "The fleet amassed beyond our borders is unlike anything we have ever encountered," he explained, his gaze unwavering. "Its sheer size and composition suggest a level of organization and intent that cannot be ignored." The counselors exchanged nervous glances, their ceremonial robes rustling softly as they shifted in their seats. Admiral Singh, seated among the dignitaries, felt a cold knot form in the pit of his stomach. He knew the stakes of this moment were higher than any he had faced before. As Jackson concluded his presentation, a heavy silence settled over the chamber. The Mayan emperor, a figure of imposing stature, regarded the human captain with narrowed eyes. "You expect us to believe that your species, barely out of its infancy on the galactic stage, could muster such a force?" he demanded, his voice tinged with skepticism. Jackson met the emperor's gaze squarely. "Believe what you will, Your Majesty," he replied evenly, "but the evidence speaks for itself. Humanity may be young, but we are not without our resources or our resolve." In the wake of Jackson's revelation, Admiral Singh found himself grappling with a torrent of conflicting emotions. As the highest-ranking officer in Earth's fleet, he bore the weight of responsibility for safeguarding humanity's interests in the face of an uncertain future. Seated in his command chamber aboard the flagship U.S. Vanguard, Singh reviewed the data transmitted by Jackson and his reconnaissance team. Images of the mysterious fleet danced across the view screen, their angular silhouettes a stark contrast against the backdrop of distant stars. The admiral sighed heavily, running a hand through his graying hair. "What are you hiding out there, beyond the reaches of our sensors?" he muttered to himself, frustration tugging at the corners of his mind. His thoughts drifted back to the ancient texts and legends that had been passed down through generations of humanity. Stories of lost civilizations and forgotten wars, whispered tales of beings that strode the cosmos long before humanity had taken its first faltering steps into space. Could this fleet be a remnant of those bygone eras? Singh wondered, his brow furrowing in contemplation. Or was it something altogether more sinister, a harbinger of doom poised to unleash untold devastation upon the galaxy? As the Admiral pondered these questions, a chime sounded, signaling an incoming transmission. With a resigned sigh, he activated the comm terminal, bracing himself for whatever news awaited him on the other end. Across the galaxy, tension simmered as news of the gathering fleet spread like wildfire. In the halls of power on Maya Prime, the seat of the Mizari Empire, the Emperor convened his counselors to address the growing crisis. The Grand Chamber, adorned with gilded tapestries and shimmering holographic displays, buzzed with anticipation as the counselors took their seats. The Emperor, flanked by his advisors, surveyed the assembly with a steely gaze. "We stand on the brink of war," he declared, his voice carrying the weight of authority. "Our ancient adversaries have returned, and they bring with them a threat unlike any we have faced before." A murmur rippled through the chamber, punctuated by uneasy glances and whispered conversations. The Mizari were a proud and ancient race, their empire spanning countless star systems. But even they could not deny the gravity of the situation unfolding before them. As the counselors debated their course of action, fissures began to emerge within their ranks. Some advocated for a preemptive strike, arguing that the fleet posed too great a risk to be ignored. Others urged caution, warning against the folly of rushing headlong into conflict without fully understanding the enemy they faced. Amidst the discord, Admiral Singh's voice echoed in the Emperor's thoughts. "The humans may be young, but they are not without their resources or their resolve," he remembered. Could an alliance with Earth be the key to defeating this newfound threat? Or would it only serve to exacerbate an already precarious situation? As the counselors continued to debate, the Emperor weighed his options carefully. Whatever path he chose, one thing was certain. The fate of the Mizari Empire hung in the balance. As tensions mounted across the galaxy, Captain Jackson and his reconnaissance team continued their efforts to gather intelligence on the enigmatic fleet. Guided by Horus, a trusted ally among the Mizari, they navigated the treacherous expanse of space with caution, ever mindful of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. Their journey took them to the fringes of known space, where the boundaries between light and dark blurred into a shifting tapestry of nebulae and star clusters. It was here, amidst the cosmic expanse, that they encountered the first signs of the approaching storm. The fleet, vast and ominous, hung like a specter on the edge of the void. Its angular silhouettes loomed against the backdrop of distant stars, a silent reminder of the threat that lurked beyond the reaches of civilization. Jackson watched from the cockpit of his ship, his jaw clenched in determination. "We need to get closer," he muttered, his voice barely audible above the hum of the engines. "We need to see what they're planning." Horus nodded in agreement, his expression grave. "Be careful, my friend," he cautioned. "These are uncharted waters we tread, and the dangers that lie ahead are beyond anything we have faced before." With a silent nod, Jackson steered his ship towards the heart of the fleet, steeling himself for whatever lay ahead. The journey would be fraught with peril, but he knew that the fate of two worlds hung in the balance. As the Joint Task Force prepared to confront the enigmatic fleet, tensions reached a fever pitch aboard the U.S. Vanguard. Admiral Singh paced the command deck, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. He knew that the coming battle would test the resolve of every man and woman under his command, pushing them to the very limits of their endurance. Seated at his side, Captain Jackson exchanged a somber glance with his Mizari counterpart, Commander Horus. "This is it," Jackson murmured, his voice tinged with a mix of determination and apprehension. "The moment we've been preparing for." Horus nodded in agreement, his gaze fixed on the tactical display before them. "We must be prepared for anything," he replied, his tone grave. "The enemy we face is unlike anything we have encountered before." As the fleet dropped out of hyperspace, the full magnitude of the enemy force came into view. Countless ships, their sleek hulls bristling with weapons and sensors, hung like predatory birds poised to strike. The void of space became a battleground as the Joint Task Force collided with the ominous fleet. Explosions rippled through the darkness as ships exchanged volleys of deadly fire, their weapons tearing through the fabric of space with devastating force. On the bridge of the UES Vanguard, Admiral Singh watched with bated breath as the chaos unfolded before him. "Report," he barked, his voice cutting through the cacophony of alarms and shouts. Lieutenant Ramirez, manning the sensor station, frantically relayed the grim news. "Enemy ships closing in from all vectors, sir. Shields holding at 80%, but we're taking heavy fire." Admiral Singh clenched his jaw, his mind racing as he surveyed the tactical display. The enemy fleet seemed inexhaustible, their numbers overwhelming even the combined might of Earth and Maya. As the battle raged on, he knew that victory would require every ounce of skill and determination his crew possessed. Amidst the chaos of battle, Captain Jackson and Commander Horace led a daring strike team into the heart of the enemy fleet. Their objective, to disable the enemy's command hub and disrupt their coordination. With weapons drawn and hearts pounding, they fought their way through wave after wave of enemy defenders, their path illuminated by the flickering glow of distant explosions. As they reached the heart of the enemy formation, they encountered fierce resistance from elite enemy soldiers. But Jackson and Horace pressed on, their determination unwavering in the face of overwhelming odds. With each step bringing them closer to their objective, they knew that the fate of their worlds hung in the balance. In the heart of the enemy flagship, Captain Jackson and Commander Horace faced their final challenge. Surrounded by enemy forces on all sides, they fought with a desperate intensity, their weapons blazing as they carved a path towards their objective. With every moment bringing them closer to victory or defeat, they knew that failure was not an option. As they breached the enemy's inner sanctum, they found themselves face to face with the command hub itself. With a grim determination, they set about disabling the device, their movements precise and calculated despite the chaos raging around them. And as the last connections were severed, a sense of relief washed over them, knowing that they had accomplished their mission. But their victory was short-lived, as the enemy's last-ditch efforts threatened to overwhelm them. With time running out and the enemy closing in, Jackson and Horace knew that they had to make a choice: to fight to the bitter end, or to make the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good. With the enemy closing in on all sides, Captain Jackson made a fateful decision. With a heavy heart, he activated the fail. Yet, the road to peace was not without its challenges. Many had paid the ultimate price in the conflict, their lives cut short by the horrors of war. Families grieved for lost loved ones, their hearts heavy with sorrow and loss. And as they mourned their fallen comrades, they vowed to honor their memory by building a world where such sacrifices would never be in vain. In the quiet moments between battles, echoes of the conflict still lingered. Veterans struggled with the memories of the horrors they had witnessed, their minds haunted by the ghosts of the past. Yet, amidst the pain and the suffering, there were also moments of camaraderie and solidarity, as soldiers leaned on each other for support in their darkest hours. For Captain Jackson and Commander Horace, the end of the conflict marked the beginning of a new chapter in their friendship. Bound together by shared experiences and a deep respect for one another, they found solace in each other's company as they navigated the challenges of peacetime. And as they looked to the future, they knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, they would face them together as brothers in arms. Amidst the chaos of reconstruction, Earth and Maya emerged as beacons of hope in a galaxy still reeling from the ravages of war. Their resilience and determination inspired others to stand tall in the face of adversity, reminding them that even in the darkest of times, there was always a glimmer of light to guide them forward. As the galaxy began to heal, Earth and Maya embraced a spirit of resilience and renewal. They rebuilt their shattered worlds with a determination born from the ashes of conflict, their spirits undaunted by the challenges that lay ahead. And as they worked tirelessly to forge a brighter future, they knew that their shared strength would carry them through even the darkest of nights. With peace restored, Earth and Maya took up the mantle of guardianship once more, their resolve unshakable in the face of any who would threaten the fragile peace they had fought so hard to achieve. Together, They stood as bastions of hope in a galaxy still scarred by the specter of war, their watchful eyes ever vigilant against the encroaching darkness. As the years passed, Earth and Maya continued to march forward into a new era of progress and enlightenment. They embraced new technologies and explored distant worlds, their thirst for knowledge driving them ever onward. And as they charted the uncharted depths of space, they discovered that the universe was filled with wonders beyond their wildest dreams. With each passing day, Earth and Maya reaffirmed their commitment to safeguarding the future of the galaxy. They trained the next generation of soldiers and diplomats, instilling in them the values of honor, courage, and compassion. And as they looked to the stars, they saw not just the challenges that lay ahead, but the promise of a tomorrow filled with peace and prosperity. Amidst the hustle and bustle of everyday life, there were those who chose to walk a different path. Explorers and adventurers set out into the unknown, their hearts filled with a sense of wonder and curiosity. And as they ventured into the farthest reaches of the galaxy, they discovered that sometimes the greatest adventures were found in the most unexpected places. For some, the conflict had awakened a sense of purpose that could not be ignored. Scientists and scholars delved into the mysteries of the universe, their minds ablaze with the desire to unlock its deepest secrets. And as they made new discoveries and pushed the boundaries of knowledge, they knew that they were part of something greater than themselves, a cosmic tapestry woven from the fabric of space and time. Amidst the ruins of long-forgotten civilizations, whispers of the past echoed through the halls of history. Archaeologists and historians sifted through the wreckage, piecing together the fragments of lost civilizations with painstaking care. And as they uncovered the secrets of the ancients, they marveled at the wonders of a bygone era, their minds filled with wonder and awe. With each new discovery, Earth and Maya grew ever more hungry for knowledge. They sent out probes and satellites to explore distant planets and study the stars, their thirst for understanding driving them ever onward. And as they delved deeper into the mysteries of the cosmos, they knew that there was still so much left to learn, a universe of possibilities waiting to be explored. In the hearts and minds of dreamers and visionaries, the seeds of tomorrow took root. Artists and poets painted pictures of worlds yet to be imagined, their creativity a beacon of inspiration for all. As Earth and Maya forged ahead, they strengthened the bonds of unity that had emerged from the ashes of war. Collaborative projects flourished, with scientists, engineers, and artists from both worlds pooling their talents to create wonders previously thought impossible. Together, they built a foundation upon which a brighter future could be constructed, one built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. In the quiet moments between the hustle and bustle of everyday life, Earth and Maya paused to remember those who had given their lives in defense of peace. Memorial services were held across the galaxy, their solemnity a reminder of the sacrifices that had been made. And as they bowed their heads in reverence, they vowed to honor the memory of the fallen by cherishing the freedom for which they had fought. With each passing day, Earth and Maya embraced change, welcoming new ideas and perspectives with open arms. Progressive movements flourished, advocating for equality, justice, and the rights of all sentient beings. And as they worked to dismantle the barriers of prejudice and discrimination, they moved ever closer towards a future where every voice was heard and every life valued. As champions of peace and equality, Earth and Maya stood as guardians of justice, ensuring that the laws of the galaxy were upheld and enforced. Courts of law became bastions of fairness and impartiality, where the guilty were held to account and the innocent protected from harm. And as they dispensed justice with a firm but compassionate hand, they reaffirmed their commitment to the principles of freedom and democracy. Amidst the solemnity of their duties, Earth and Maya found moments of joy and laughter, their spirits lifted by the simple pleasures of life. Festivals and celebrations filled the streets, their vibrant colors and infectious energy a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And as they danced and sang beneath the stars, they celebrated not just their triumphs, but the bonds of friendship and camaraderie that had seen them through even the darkest of times. In a galaxy as vast and diverse as theirs, Earth and Maya celebrated the richness of their differences, embracing the myriad cultures, traditions, and customs that made each world unique. Cultural exchanges flourished, with artists, musicians, and storytellers sharing their talents with one another in a spirit of mutual appreciation and understanding. And as they celebrated the tapestry of life that bound them together, they discovered that it was their diversity that made them strong. With an eye towards the future, Earth and Maya became stewards of the natural world, working tirelessly to preserve and protect the fragile ecosystems of their respective planets. Conservation efforts flourished, with scientists and activists joining forces to combat pollution, deforestation, and climate change. And as they worked to heal the wounds inflicted upon their planet, they reaffirmed their commitment to leaving behind a legacy of sustainability and stewardship for future generations to inherit. In the pursuit of knowledge, Earth and Maya ventured ever deeper into the mysteries of the cosmos, their insatiable curiosity driving them to explore new frontiers and push the boundaries of human understanding. Universities and research institutes became centers of innovation and discovery, where scholars and scientists delved into the fundamental questions of existence. And as they unlocked the secrets of the universe, they marveled at the wonders that lay waiting to be uncovered. As ambassadors of peace, Earth and Maya engaged in diplomacy on a galactic scale, forging alliances and treaties with their neighbors in a spirit of cooperation and goodwill. Diplomatic envoys crisscrossed the galaxy, their mission to foster understanding and dialogue between worlds. And as they negotiated the delicate intricacies of interstellar politics, they laid the groundwork for a future where conflict was resolved not through violence, but through dialogue and compromise. In the annals of history, the heroes of the conflict were immortalized, their deeds remembered and revered for generations to come. Museums and memorials paid tribute to their courage and sacrifice, ensuring that their memory would never fade from the collective consciousness of the galaxy. And as future generations looked upon their statues and monuments, they drew inspiration from their example, knowing that even in the face of adversity, the indomitable spirit of humanity would always prevail. As Earth and Maya looked towards the future, they embarked on a journey into the unknown, their sights set on the distant stars that beckoned to them from the depths of space. Explorers and adventurers set out on bold new expeditions, their ships blazing a trail through the cosmos in search of new horizons and untold wonders. And as they charted their course through the uncharted depths of the galaxy, they knew that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. As the sun set on the tumultuous past and rose on a new era, Earth and Maya stood together, united in purpose and vision. With hearts full of hope and minds set on the future, they embraced the dawn of a new age, a time of peace, prosperity, and boundless possibility. In the light of this new day, they looked back on their journey, marveled at the trials they had overcome, and celebrated the triumphs that had brought them to this moment. They remembered the sacrifices of the past with reverence and gratitude, honoring the memory of those who had given their all for the promise of a better tomorrow. With unwavering resolve, they pledged to build a future worthy of their shared dreams, a future where all beings could live in harmony and thrive in a world free from fear and oppression. They committed themselves to the ideals of justice, equality, and compassion, knowing that it was only by standing together as one that they could overcome.